Alright, here we go. This is the tower defense demo, and this is created as part of the Game Institute DevSlopes Unity Academy, which is like a 38-hour course, and this is about an 8-hour module in that course. In this game, it's a 2D tower defense game. You build towers and you try to prevent your enemies from getting all the way through the map to the end. Each time you kill an enemy, you get a little bit of money that you can use to build more towers. We've got pathfinding and model animations and raycasting and audio and projectiles. But what I really want to focus on is some of the bugs and enhancements that I worked with on here, kind of on my own, above and beyond, the module. So, one of the items is, first bug was, hey, if you select a tower, there's no way to get that tower off of your mouse unless you place it. And so if you don't have anywhere to place it, or you just decide you don't want to see a tower going around, there was no way of getting rid of that. So you can switch towers, but what I did was I just made it so that if you click on that again, then it will go away. So we're going to build a tower here to get this last guy. One of the other issues was that there was a bug where if you were in this between waves and with the menu open, you could still select the towers and place them, which is cheating. So got rid of that. That is no longer available. Fixed that bug. Another bug was these UI components. They were fixed size. So if you were changing your display or going from PC to mobile, then they would get either really huge on the screen or super small and hard to read. And so it made those scalable so that as you do, they keep the same proportion to the screen when you switch devices or switch your resolution size. Another bug is, when you kill all the enemies or they escape, then that ends the wave and goes to the next wave. But the way that it was keeping track of enemies, tried to register them in a list, and it just wasn't working right. So I revamped that, because otherwise I was seeing issues where the wave would be way too short, or it would go on forever and it just keep generating enemies and enemies and enemies when you're on wave 3, and that is not cool. So it took care of that. Sometimes there was another bug where the projectiles weren't disappearing if for some reason the target was killed or no longer valid. So I went in and updated the script for the projectiles so that if their target's no longer around, it destroys itself and doesn't sit around on the screen. Added a quit game option, because a lot of times when you're working on a demo game as part of a module or training thing, they don't include the quit game stuff. So I added a pause menu that you can go into, added the resume, new game in case you want to start over with a fresh game, or to just quit entirely. So that is added. If you notice, the enemies, they do not fade away after they die until the end of the wave. That originally I fixed that, but then I found out from playing it, it's kind of cool to see this trail of carnage left behind by your tower. So I kept that, put it back, fixed the bug, and then unfixed the bug because it was better without the bug fixed. And then finally, just the gameplay, right? So by original design, it would just randomly generate a certain number of enemies, and it could be of any enemy type depending on the wave. So the first waves would be really easy with the skull guys, and then it would go to the medium guys with the helmets, and then the spiky guys with these guys are the hardest to kill. But what ended up happening is, because it was random, is sometimes you would end up with a really, really tough level that there was just no way that you could win. And if there's anything that's more frustrating, there's nothing more frustrating than having a game where if you play that game perfectly, you're still not going to win. And so it's like 40% of the time you just were in an unwinnable scenario, which is not fun. So I went in, revamped the generation of the enemies, made it configurable in Unity so that someone could go in and say, okay, for level 1 you're going to have this many of this type of enemy, this many of this other type of enemy, and then you could do it and kind of went in and tweaked it to try to get a good mix, make it easy at the beginning, ramping up the difficulty until the end. The end is super difficult, but not if you have all of your towers in place. So that's the demo. You know, there's a few other things I'd like to change about it and expand it, but hey, you know, it's a demo module used to learn, and I'm ready to move on and learn other things. Thanks.